Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and this is Mailseum. Have you ever heard of the haunted Clairmont Springs Hotel in central Alabama? I want to show you what it looked like over 100 years ago, what it looks like today, and tell you a little bit about its history. So the hotel was in central Alabama, about halfway between Talladega, Alabama and Ashland, Alabama. Construction began on the hotel in April of 1909 and was completed just 3 months later in July, and the hotel was opened the summer of 1909. Now let me read you an article from a newspaper from a few days after the grand opening of the hotel. Under very auspicious circumstances, the Clairmont Springs Hotel was opened Saturday evening with a most enjoyable ball and a beautiful and commodious pavilion to the strains of the fine music played by a band brought from Anniston just for the occasion. The management had made every arrangement for the accommodation and pleasure of the large crowd, Miss I.E. Taylor acting as hostess in a very gracious and charming manner. This hotel, Clairmont Springs Hotel, was the place to be in central Alabama. There were notable people who went there, distinguished guests is what they called them. So whenever someone notable went to the hotel, they would publish their name in the newspaper and say, "Oh, Miss Mary Southerner just got back from the Clairmont Springs Hotel," and it was a big event whenever anybody went to the hotel. Now, the image I have, the first one I'll show you is from the very next summer, 1910, but this is just such a great image. You can see all the guests out here on the porch, hanging out. It's probably late evening, maybe they are waiting for dinner and just hanging out, talking, drinking their water. So this hotel was actually known for mineral water. It was called a health resort, and it had 7 different kinds of water. It had water with iron, water with aluminum, water with sulfate, and water with arsenic. So those waters was a big draw of the hotel and why it was called a health resort. People would come there to drink the water and supposedly made them feel better. So this is the image of the actual hotel, but there were actually, in addition to the hotel's 80 rooms, there were cottages and there were a lot of other activities. So guests could enjoy swimming, bowling, tennis, dancing, pool, mountain climbing, and more. And this next image shows the hotel around the same time, maybe slightly later, but you can see here the main building of the hotel on the right and some guests there walking around the grounds. Maybe the springs here on the left. I'm sure the dancing pavilion is somewhere in the background, along with the swimming pool hall, and whatever other attractions they had there. But I love panoramic postcards like this that have more than one panel. So this one's 3. It just gives you such a wide view of the area, and this one was used really well to show the hotel. Rates of the hotel, when the hotel opened, rates were only $2 per day, which is $67 in today's money, and monthly rates, if you wanted to stay for an entire month or months, were $30 per month, which would be $1,003 in today's money. So the hotel was very affordable by today's standards. Now, why did I say that the hotel is haunted? In 1972, a 6-year-old girl was hit by a train across the street from the hotel, and ever since then, people say that you can hear trains coming right at midnight every 5 seconds. And others have said that you can hear running in the halls of the hotel at night. So this unfortunate accident in 1972, and it closed down just 3 years later in 1975. And I have some images from the hotel a little bit before it closed. So I believe this image is from the 50s. It may be a little bit earlier than that or a little bit later, but it's from around that time. And it looks pretty much the same as it did when it opened. This is just the main building of the hotel. Compare that to the image from the summer of 1910, which was a year after the hotel had opened, and it doesn't look too much different. But I have some photos here, and all of these are credit to Danny Hubbard. So if you're out there, thank you, Danny. These were taken in 1992 after the hotel had been closed for 17 years, and you can tell. So this is the outside of the hotel in 1992, and you can see it's just rundown, old, dilapidated building. I'm sure it's one of those places that the kids nearby would love to like go and explore. And that was the outside of the hotel. They also have a view of the pool, and I don't have a view of the pool when it was opened, unfortunately, to compare it to, but after it was closed, the pool's looking pretty gross. So you got changing rooms on the side right there, bathhouses, and the little ladder to go down into the pool. And I have this image here of the pool looking front on. So you can see the pool just looks kind of gross. So it's got all kinds of stuff growing out of it. Hopefully nobody's swimming in that in 1992. One of these buildings in the back is probably this dancing pavilion, which I believe is the image I'm about to show you in 1992. And you can see, I mean, the building's still standing, but it's clearly run down and not inhabited. And it's just cool to see, you know, what stuff looks like that 80 years later. So that's the dancing pavilion. Here's a view of, I believe to be the back of the hotel. And you can see, yeah, the same as all the other images. It just looks really run down, not taken care of, abandoned. And there's a couple pictures of inside the hotel. Now, I believe that this is the bar where they would get their food from, or it looks like a serving bar, serving counter area. That looks like an old Coca-Cola cooler next to the counter. And this is probably where people would eat their dinners when they were staying here on vacation over 100 years ago. Now I have another picture of the inside. I don't know exactly where this was taken. It's got like a double rocking chair right there. This might have been where people ate dinner, or it might have been just an area where people would go to hang out. But that's a really cool image. A ton of people would vacation at Clairmont Springs Hotel. It was a really popular resort in central Alabama. And then around 2005, the hotel burned down. It was either struck by lightning or somebody burned it down, and it was arson. I couldn't find any articles about it that said exactly what happened, but unfortunately the hotel is no longer around. So these images are the only thing remaining we have of the hotel, other than people's memories that stayed there. So I know there are people alive that stayed there in the 60s, 70s, maybe young parents that took their kids there in the 60s or 70s. So if you ever stayed at this hotel or know somebody that stayed at this hotel, let me know. And if you have any pictures of the hotel, I would love to see them. And I'm sure everybody else watching this video would love to see them. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'll be creating more content like this in the future. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications whenever I post content. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you thought, or if you have any questions. Thank you.